All the way from the start, I can feel it in my heart, like all the way from the start. Hey, what's going on out there? It's Sean Devine, and today I've got a mixing tip for you all that I hope is really going to save your career now and in the future. If you're doing a lot of mixing and you're doing a lot of music professionally or otherwise, if you do it a lot, this is something that you really need to take into account. It's something I was a little late on. I probably should have been doing this earlier on, but it was just, something I really didn't know how to do, and I didn't know that it was necessary. But that is to make sure that you're monitoring at low volumes most of the time. It's okay to really jam out. I know when I was younger, we would be in my dorm or had a basement studio when I first got out of college, and like we would just jam out. And even when I was younger, with bands, we would just listen to things as loud as possible, which is fun. But eventually it takes a toll on your hearing, and it also messes up your ability to mix because your ears get fatigued really quickly, and that's what you don't realize. But the longer that it's turned up, the more you're going to have to continue to turn it up or take ear breaks. And then your perception and your judgment with a mix gets really messed up if you're doing it at high volumes. And that's something that I wish someone had told me this earlier on, because I always felt like you had to have it turned up really loud. And what would end up happening is my ears would get fatigued, and so I would have to make all these like second changes and things after going and referencing it on other speakers, because I was hearing a lot of the room. So the one thing you probably don't think about is that when you turn the music up, unless you're in a really nicely treated room, which most of us are not in these $1 million acoustic treated rooms or whatever. So when you're not in that, you turn it up really loud and you're introducing all of the reflections and issues that the room has, the louder it goes. So if it's quiet, you're just hearing the response of the speaker, and it's going to be much easier to make your mix judgments. So that's another big key reason to monitor at mostly low volumes. I mean, I would say probably 95 to 97% of the mixing process should be at a very low volume. Now, when I say a low volume, I've got a little app here that'll just trigger Logic, but I'm working on a mix right now, and I'm just going to play it back at the volume I've got it right now, and just show you that, I can continue to just talk over it. Hopefully it'll pick up, a little bit through the dynamic mic, just so that you can get a sense, but it's not very loud. We could sit and, have a conversation, and it's not going to affect it. And even though that's at a low volume, I can still feel the impact of the 808, and I can still tell what's going on dynamically, even at a lower volume like that. So that's just to show you that's my normal reference level, and it works so much better than when I was mixing really loud. Again, I'm having to do much less second guessing, and my ears feel better. I can work longer. I can do this longer and be confident in my choices throughout the day. For instance, today, this morning, I'm working on production and beats. Then, at lunch, I start mixing a couple sessions for a client. I did, 2 or 3 masters earlier this morning, and was finishing that throughout the day. So all these different things that I can do, whereas normally, had I been working at my old pace of just jamming it really high volume, I probably would be able to get through producing maybe like a half a beat, or doing one mix before my ears were just shot for the day, really. And I would have continued to work, but with the ear fatigue, it's like that would have really affected what I was working on. So anyway, all this to say, try to mix and work at low volumes primarily. Of course, when you're producing and doing all these things, you want to be excited. So it's okay to turn the music up for a little while, see how it works at that volume, but then bring it back down and do most of your heavy work at that low volume. And hopefully this is going to really save your hearing and your career, or just your ears in general, because you don't want to, 20 years down the road, or even 10 years down the road, be dealing with hearing issues, especially if this is as valuable as you need it to be for you. So anyway, hope this helps y'all. Any questions, any comments, feel free to leave them below. Appreciate the likes and subscribes, and we'll talk to you soon.